Oh, so that's what the first W in WWE stood for. Almost forgot. I'm Chris Wolvie, the wrestling vlog who always tells it like it is. Firstly, I'm keeping everyone right where they are in the rankings until after Backlash when the draft moves are finalized. Furthermore, I'll talk about the draft picks after Backlash. In any case, it seems like the WWE wants their superstars to update their passports and to forget about flying domestically for PLEs for a while. The next 3 PLEs will be taking place outside of the borders of the US of A. Backlash, as you know, will take place in Puerto Rico, only the second time a major card will be held in the US Protectorate, the first being New Year's Revolution nearly 2 decades ago. The card seems alright and will definitely have consequences based on the rest of the draft. And seeing Bad Bunny finally return to in-ring action seems like a good idea. Besides, given everything that's happened to the aisle meteorologically over the last few years, they could use the income to keep rebuilding. Then the PLE, formerly known as King and Queen of the Ring, and currently known as Night of Champions, will grace Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, so that the WWE can get that Sultan's ransom into their coffers. Of course, if it's truly a Night of Champions, they might run into issues because some WWE superstars refuse to or are disallowed from entering the kingdom. Meaning that if Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are still tag champs by late May, it's going to make the match for the 4 belts awkward. And then there's what could be considered the 5th major of the WWE PLEs, Money in the Bank. This year, for the first time in, well, let's just say it was last century, an actual PLE will take place in England, and this time in the O2 Arena. Yeah, Clash of the Castle was the first in the UK, technically, for that long, but I think England's been starving for true WWE action since NXT UK was buried. And having so many men and women slamming each other with ladders to get a shot at a title at any time and any place, and if Austin Theory from last year's any indication, any title, well, that might just be the shot of adrenaline the blokes need. One important question to ask, though, is why? Why go out of their way, quite literally, to have these events outside of the confines of America? I mean, let's face facts, folks. I seriously doubt it's to reassert that the first W in WWE stands for world. It stood for that even when they were still hovering around New England and the New York metro area back in the 1980s. The only worldly thing about them back then was that the superstars seemed to hail from all over the world. Oh, sure, once Raw took off and they started having it in places other than Manhattan, the country and the world opened up for them. I mean, still, there are Japanese promotions that travel to the US and other places, so it's not like the WWE's unique. Is it because the world has, to a point, finally opened up to pre-pandemic travel standards and, as such, are more welcoming of the WWE? I mean, several superstars are touring in Europe as we speak. When was the last time the WWE was in Paris? Or Germany? And I'm sure trips to Aussie and or Japan are being discussed. Are they having their PLEs outside of the US to show other countries that they're ready to return to worldwide traveling? If there's one thing I think I know about the WWE and its owner, it has very little to do with that, and a lot more to do with money. Between the pandemic and the legal bills of Mr. McMahon, the WWE is only now starting to crawl out of the red it's been in for the last 3 years. Peacock buying up the WWE Network in the US, Endeavor attempting to buy the WWE as a whole, Mr. McMahon no longer that much in control of creative, Triple H cramming open the bigwigs' wallets to bring formerly released superstars back into the fold. It was all an effort to get that bottom line back into the millions again. And what better way to grab more money than to have PLEs in exotic locales like Puerto Rico, Saudi Arabia, and England? No doubt all three stadia will be packed to the rafters regardless of the cost or the cards. And who knows? Maybe McMahon's tax lawyers have found a way to keep from paying too much taxes on the income of such cards outside the US. If that's the case, then the WWE should be rolling in dough come SummerSlam. Well, that and the usual releases that follow every draft. Or even before that, I'm sure the WWE is glad not to pay Roderick Strong and to let him join his former Undisputed Era buddies in AEW. In any case, get set for the PR dollars, the rands, and the pounds to flow into the company's bank account to keep paying the rent on their new headquarters building and keep paying Roman Reigns to not defend his title. The world may not spin on a dime, but it's the world's money that make the WWE go around these days. I'm Chris Ward with the Wrestling Vlog, who always tells it like it is. Pray for peace, and I'll see you.